Hello everyone, I'm Professor Leo and I'm here to explain all about arrays, lists, and dictionaries. To start off, what is an array? An array is a data type used to store data of the same type with a fixed size. So, for example, I can try to create an array of, let me just declare var array, and as you can see, it already also suggests me one of the options to declare an array. But I want to start with declaring it as a fixed size. So if you go into here and say new int square brackets, open and closed, inside of the square brackets, we put, for example, the limit of items inside of that array. 4, let's say. I can then basically fill in those items by doing what it's already suggesting me, which is basically my variable square brackets, what index it is going to be placed at. In this case, 0, because array starts at 0 and go to what the max amount of values is, -1, because they start at 0 and not at 1. Hence why the -1. So yeah, we can just basically fill in this and then basically say for each. This is a looping method which will be explained later on. All you need to know is it basically grabs whatever value is inside of your basically collection and basically loops through them one by one, assigning it to a variable. Another way to declare an array is, as it was already suggesting me there, let's say new int empty square brackets and just pass in values between brackets, and it will automatically assign to that array. So in this case, it would be a 10 sized array. So you can still mess around with the values, but at the start, it will have the numbers 1 through 10. Okay, moving on to the list. A list is basically an array, but with a few more implementations that make it a bit easier to move around with. They don't have a fixed limit per se, and you can add, remove, and basically find at will the index for whatever item you want. For example, we can basically say var a list. It already is suggesting me a list. Don't know why, but yeah, that's what I wanted to try. You can declare in the same way as array, but there's a difference. You basically pass the data type inside of the lesser than and greater than symbols, like that. You can also just declare like this with a parenthesis, and essentially a list is created here. Now, with this, you can basically say list add 1, 2, 3, list.remove 1, or maybe 2 in this case, to remove the second index, or the second item in this case. Because remove basically is, here's my item, remove it from your list where it matches. In this case it's 2, so it's going to remove the second index of the list. You can also say, let's for example first do this, for each 2, write to the console what is inside my items array, or my list in this case. Apologies for the confusion. And now let's just say console.find index, console.writeLine, and list.find index of 3, where x equals x equals 3. Okay, slight mess up there. But yeah, to explain what this is basically a lambda function. You declare what you're trying to compare. In this case, I passed the variable as an x and say inside of it, okay, give me the matching index where x is equal to 3. And now if we debug that, it should appear at the very bottom of the console. Okay, 3, it's an index 1. Remember what I said with the arrays? Where it starts at 0 and goes up to whatever the last item is. That's it, basically. In this case, it's at index 1 because there's 2 items, and this is the last one. So yeah. Okay, finally, let's move on to dictionaries. This is a bit more of a complex feature in C#. It's basically like a list, but the way you find items or assign them is by essentially an identifier, which is passed as a first parameter in your dictionary. So, for example, let me showcase a simple example. It's already telling me to have a dictionary of string, but I'll make it a dictionary of int string. Int being my identifier, string being my value. Okay. This works as the same as a list. You can add, remove, and find index. Nothing changed there. The only difference is, for example, I can go here and say if dict.tryGetValue at key 1 alt dict var value. It basically is like the try-parse methods, but to get the value out of the dictionary itself. This is a safe way to basically check if the dictionary has a value and extract it immediately. So I'm going to extract the 1 out of it. It should output to the console 1 in written. And there it is. And yeah, basically that's it for a simple introduction to arrays, lists, and dictionaries. Later on, we may approach a more in-depth tutorial about this, but for now, just as a simple introduction to it, I'd say we are good enough. So yeah, if you liked the video, please do leave a like, subscribe, and comment down what you'd like to see next. I'll be sure to take a look at it. And yeah, have a nice day.